Good day and welcome to everybody. Ndio here. I hope you're all keeping well and keeping safe and enjoying the fact that now we're down to level 4 in the lockdown and are allowed to be a tiny bit more relaxed. But please don't forget to keep safe and keep doing the things that we've been asked to. This isn't going away just because it's changing. So, yes, please keep safe. But welcome. So today my devotion is entitled AC, After COVID-19, Who's Coming Back? And it dwells on God's sovereignty, and that's what I've been thinking about this week. So we're going to look at Job 38 verse 1 to 18, which is the portion of Job where Job has questioned God and said, why am I in this situation? Why am I so distressed and everything, all the calamities are happening to me? And this is how God answers him. And now, finally God answered Job from the eye of a violent storm. He said, why do you confuse the issue? Why do you talk without knowing what you're talking about? Pull yourself together, Job. Up on your feet. Stand tall. I have some questions for you, and I want some straight answers. Where were you when I created the earth? Tell me, since you know so much. Who decided on its size? Certainly you'll know. Who came up with the blueprints and measurements? How was its foundations poured? And who set the cornerstone while the morning stars sang in chorus and all the angels shouted praise? And who took charge of the ocean when it gushed forth like a baby from the womb? That was me. I wrapped it in soft clouds and tucked it in safely at night. Then I made a playpen for it, a strong playpen, so it couldn't run loose. And said, stay here, this is your place. Your wild tantrums are confined to this place. And have you ever ordered morning, get up? Told dawn, get to work. So you could seize earth like a blanket and shake out the wicked little cockroaches. As the sun brings everything to light, brings out all the colors and shapes, the cover of darkness is snatched from the wicked. They're caught in their very acts. Have you ever gotten to the true bottom of things, explored the labyrinthine caves of deep ocean? Do you know the first thing about death? Do you have one clue regarding death's dark mysteries? And do you have any idea how large this earth is? Speak up if you have even the beginning of an answer. And this is the word of the Lord. Now I chose to use the Message Bible for this verse simply because it's more English friendly, user friendly. So I hope you enjoyed that. Now, I know, we are almost COVID worn out. But I heard my oldest son speaking to his friends on the phone the other day. And I heard him refer to BC. And in the context that he was speaking, I figured out that he meant before Corona, before COVID-19. And this got me thinking as well about, what about after COVID-19, after Corona? AC. Now, I am very much involved in the inner workings of our church, Brooklyn Methodist Church. And so I understand a lot of what's going on and see a lot of what's happening. And we have had to weather the storm of the changes that have come with Corona. And some of them are very uncomfortable and painful, but we are getting through them. So we're a small congregation, probably a ratio of about 50, 40, 10. 50% are the aged, quite old, over 65s. That is the majority of our congregation. 40% are the young and the middle-aged. And then our 10% is the youth and the children's who cover that. So I was thinking about how the technologies had to become a part of who we are as a church. So the aged over 65s. They're not so technologically astute, which has translated to not being able to watch a lot of the services that we're giving, the devotions that we're sharing, unfortunately, and obviously just in participating in activities in the church. The younger and the middle-aged group, they're a mixture of technologically savvy to those who basically just have basic knowledge but are able to get by. And then you've got the youth and the children who, let's be honest, are all seem to be technologically savvy, no matter what background they're coming from. And I guess in this world that we're living in, it is a necessity. Now, Brooklyn only got on the technological bandwagon when COVID really hit. And that has put us on a back foot, so to speak. It is sort of forced us to slowly but surely, believe me, start catching up with technology. So we are obviously putting ourselves out there on Facebook, YouTube, and our website, and even looking into Instagram and to see how we could use Instagram to further ourselves. And obviously we're also going to have to look at different other technologies of how we pay our tithes and how we reach that elderly group who do not so much have the ability to tangibly touch and be met at the moment, except physically one-on-one. So we are facing definitely a new era of existence. And it got me thinking about after COVID-19, AC, and who is coming back. Who's coming back? Who's coming back to church? So there are two aspects that I looked at and thought about. And firstly, why should a person not come back? Why should they choose not to come back? Different reasons could come through, like one would be, will people enjoy worshiping at home? Sitting in their pajamas and being able to watch a service without having to dress up and the fuss of getting up and going to church. The fear of being in public spaces. We now have to wear masks when we go out. We have to wash our hands all the time. We have to sanitize, use wet wipes. And maybe, this is going to become a very uncomfortable sort of thing to do. So why go through that stress? So rather stay at home and listen to the service on your TV, on your laptop, on your phone. And then watching services in your own time. So people will find, I know that a lot of people are busy, they have things that they do, and families especially are very, you find, I myself, my son has soccer every Saturday morning, and luckily he doesn't have any sport on Sundays. And but a lot of families I know do have something that they have that comes up on a Sunday. And this may just be more convenient to fit in church when you can. And then the second thing that I thought about was, why should I come back to church? And this is the second group of people that I was thinking about. And obviously I think people will miss the fellowship of being in a congregation, the fellowship of being with people who understand where you're coming from and who you share the same values and beliefs with. And people will also have a sense of commitment, having lived through the same thing. So this is something to share. So we come back to church, to discuss what we went through, how we came out, And then, of course, I think there's a lot of connections being made, new connections that maybe we hadn't thought about or experienced before. So sharing in the communities, maybe even talking to neighbors maybe that we hadn't talked to. So this would cause us to have that feeling of sharing your faith and being proud of that, and then coming back to church and bringing new people with you, bringing part of your community, and just that shared experience of Corona. So these are the reasons why I thought, okay, yeah, those are all good reasons why people would consider coming back to church. Now, these thoughts then brought about the question to me, yes? So, who is God in the midst of all this precariousness? Where is He? What is He doing? Where is He? There's so many difficult things that we're experiencing right now, and that's as a church. and as individuals and as people. And my answer came out, and this is the joy of what I would like to share with everybody, was He is sovereign. God is sovereign. In Job, we see how God explains His sovereignty to Job. He has supreme authority, control, and power over all that is happening, all that has happened in the past, and all that will happen in the future, in all times, all across history. Now that's amazing. When I'm fearful and unsure of what tomorrow is going to bring, He is still sovereign. He's not unsure. He knows exactly what tomorrow is going to bring. When I think about my church, will it be there tomorrow? Ooh, I have to remember God is sovereign. He knows. And I must just do my best today and now. Look to Him. God is the orchestrator of time and eternity. Not just COVID-19 in 2020 and beyond, but from before time began in eternity past, and He spoke Genesis into being, to time in existence, the now, today, to time beyond the end, past revelation into eternity future. And what does this mean? That the whole thing is in the palm of God's hand. God makes sure the sun comes up exactly as it should, and that every star shines in its allotted place. He knows the number of stars that are there. He knows them each by name. And He makes sure that the planets spin precisely at the right angle so that you and I can live. This is Earth, planet Earth. He is the one who creates galaxies. Now, how amazing is this? Because God is sovereign. So who's coming back to church post-corona in the days of AC, which may be years and definitely many months away? The answer is simple. It doesn't warrant my fretting. The amazing happens when I allow myself to truly believe God's sovereignty. Then I can, and we can, do what Psalm 46:10 says. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. This is our amazing God. I need to believe that when I feel hopeless, helpless, useless, to know that God is going to use that place of despair and emptiness that He has allowed to become His pulpit of glory, because He is sovereign. Colossians 1:16-17 says, For by Him all things were created, in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities, all things were created through Him and for Him. And He is before all things, and in Him all things hold together. So I trust God implicitly. Even if today is uncomfortable, and I don't know what tomorrow will bring, I shall not fear, for God is stable, He is peaceful, and He always brings rest. And He gives me this gift in the throes of His will, that I may know what it feels to have Jesus invade my circumstances. And I welcome that invasion. I welcome Him in my midst. So who's coming back? It doesn't matter. Because there may be 5 of us, 10 of us, 500 of us. Amen and hallelujah. But it does not matter. So BC or AC, God is sovereign. And I You just have to hold on to that. Bless you all, and thank you for just sharing my devotion with me. My prayer today is that we remember God's sovereignty, that we remember that in the situations that are difficult and strained and feel like they're never ending, and in a place where change is inevitable, we trust God and His sovereignty. Remember, He was there before time began. He is here now, and He ever shall be. Amen. Thank you for sharing with me, and I hope everybody continues to keep safe and blessed. Thank you.